Wonderful Tuesday morning in the city of Abeokuta, like I always talk about, and today is the 23rd day on the month of May 2023, and we're proposing that yes, sooner or later, when comes May 29, the new administration will be having its inauguration rather, and the present administration will gradually leave to Katsina State in Daura, as he said. My name is Morire Rabila Lawal, and with me this morning on the program, newspaper headlines today from BGI TV Currents. Like we always bring to you, what are the headlines, what are the subjects, what are the discussions, what are the news on our daily newspapers in Nigeria, across the nation. I'm having the Punch newspaper, Daily Post, and Vanguard. Alongside with me this morning is
Olalekon Ige. It's my pleasure as we welcome you to the paper review for today. And with me here, I have the Premium Times, Leadership, and the Nation newspaper.
On the front page of the Punch newspaper, Dangote Refinery petrol hits market July. FG to save 7 trillion naira.
And in the Leadership, I have Tribunal to deliver judgment on PDP suit against Tinubu Shetima on May 26th.
Full list, Biden's delegation to Tinubu's inauguration, coming soon.
Court declares murder charges against Rep leader Doguwa unconstitutional.
Tribunal rejects live broadcasts. Supreme Court decides anti-Tinubu suit Friday.
And from the Premium Times, I have this. Protest rocks Mangu Plateau over killings of 100 people within 2 days.
And governors-elect protest as outgoing governors shun transition panels.
And from here, I have the news. Professor Oshodeke re-elected ASU National President.
And to the newspaper again, Daily Post knocks over Buhari's failure to curb rising inflation in 8 years tenure.
And I have this as a scorecard for President Muhammadu Buhari's tenure. 63,111 persons killed in Buhari's 8 years administration.
A beautiful rider coming from Daily Post, Dangote Refinery will generate massive jobs for Nigerians, Aliko talking.
And I have it here with me in the foreign news. Iran bans politicians with dual citizenship from becoming lawmakers.
As regards the Biden's delegation to Tinubu's inauguration, the writer again is on the Daily Post, which says U.S. President Biden announces delegation for Tinubu's inauguration. The full list and details coming.
Here, let's have the news in full.
Alright, on the Daily Post from my side, I like to go straight to your state from Ogbomoso precisely. Scores of Ogbomoso indigenes on Monday trooped out to major areas in the town to express their displeasure over the planned relocation of the Faculty of Agricultural Sciences at Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, LAUTECH, Ogbomoso, to the newly established Iseyin campus of the institution. Information report that the Oyo State government had prepared and perfected plans to relocate the Faculty of Agriculture and the university to Iseyin campus.
The Supreme Court has fixed May 26 to deliver judgment in a suit seeking the disqualification of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Kasim Shetima as presidential and vice presidential candidates of the All Progressive Congress APC. The judgment will be delivered 3 days before the inauguration of the presidential-elect and vice president-elect. The PDP in the suit filed on July 28, 2022 claimed that Shetima's nomination as Tinubu's running mate was in breach of the provision of Section 29, subsection 1, 32, 35, and Section 84, subsection 1 and 2 of the Electoral Act of 2022.
The president of the Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, says his refinery would generate massive direct job opportunities for Nigerians. It disclosed these on Monday in Lagos during the landmark commissioning of the 650,000 barrels per day Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemicals by President Muhammadu Buhari. The refinery is expected to produce premium motor spirit, PMS, popularly known as petrol, diesel, AGO, aviation jet fuel, and dual-purpose kerosene (DPK), among others refined products. The refinery operation will generate massive job opportunities in their hundreds of thousands, he said, while highlighting the benefit of the refinery. Before you read your own rider, Ige, what do you think of Dangote refinery in Nigeria, the first of its kind?
Well, I think it's a commendable one since the announcement of the refinery, and I believe that it's going to go a long way to improve the economy of Africa as a whole, because petroleum has been one of the things that has been a challenge to the various countries across the globe. But the truth of the matter is, when you look at the labor market and the turnout of petroleum in terms of quantity and the rest of it, I think Dangote will be able to put in more of palliative measures in making sure that African continent also contributes to the global world in terms of supply of petroleum for easy movement of transportation and other things.
All right, the inauguration of Dangote refinery, once again, my question to you, Ige, and viewers at home, wherever you are, either in diaspora or within Nigeria, is that since we have this refinery existing in Nigeria, one of its kind and the first of its kind, are we having a rest of mind concerning fuel subsidy?
Well, we can say yes, and at the same time we say no, because government has been canvassing for public-private partnership, and this is an avenue for a private firm to also see how they can also contribute in making sure that the sufferings of Nigerians are to some extent managed. And I believe that it will also boost the economy of Nigeria by the time other countries in Africa are also trying, patronizing Dangote's supply of petroleum.
All right, to the next story on Daily Post. There are heightened concerns from stakeholders over the untamed increase in Nigeria's inflation rate under President Muhammadu Buhari's 8-year tenure. The National Bureau of Statistics, in its latest Consumer Price Index (CPI), puts April's annual inflation as 22.22%, highest since December 2005, which stood at 17.86%. The continued hike in inflation has remained unhinged despite the monetary policy measures by the Central Bank of Nigeria. That is a rider coming, knocks over Buhari's failure to curb rising inflation in 8 years tenure.
Buhari won't be able to curb it for one reason.
Okay.
Let's look at it from this angle. The question is, since the inception of this government, what impact has this government made in the area of manufacturing? What has Nigeria been churning out in terms of production to other countries and even to the labor market, whereby it will help to generate more revenue for the country as a whole? So if you look at the various sectors of the economy, look at, for instance, in terms of, if you look at the angle of education, a lot of persistence in strike and other things bring to a halt the educational activities in the country. If you also look at the health ministry, you come to realize that the various doctors, the resident doctors, they've all been having issues with this government. Now, when you come to the area of the finances, there was a time we had the issue of redesign of Naira, and we all know what happened in the country. So it got to a point that Nigerian economy was at a standstill. So as a result of that, since we are not producing, automatically the inflation will be going up. Let's assume we are producing, we are churning out production. It will help to regulate both the revenue and the expenditure. But this time around that we are not producing, it's difficult for government to be able to control or to put a measure to control the inflation rate.
As blessed as Nigeria is, I'm speaking to everyone watching this program, newspaper headlines today on BGI TV Currents, and I still stand by my words that Nigeria is being managed by selfish managers, not leaders. Now also we're going to the next right on Daily Post. I'm having Nigeria loses an icon. Farewell to an icon, Otumba Michael Olashubomi Balogun CON. With a heavy heart, but with gratitude and total submission to the will of the Almighty God, we announce the passing away of our patriarch and the founder of FCMB, Otumba Michael Olashubomi Balogun CON, the Olori Omoba Akile Ijebu, and the Ashiwaju of Ijebu Christians, who passed away following a very brief illness at the age of 89 years in the evening of Thursday 18th May 2023 in London, United Kingdom, surrounded by his family. We say adieu to a great son of Nigeria, because definitely he is the founder of FCMB, one of the strongest banks in Nigeria per se and across Africa. And with the passing away, I believe God should give the family the fortitude to bear the loss. So let's go to the next right from your side again.
And from here I have this. Protest in Mangu, Plateau over killings of 100 people within 2 days. I want us to look at this because for the past 3 weeks ago, there has been a lot of tension in Mangu, which is one of the local governments we had in Plateau State. But the issue is, don't you think government should have put a stop to this killing? And the issue is just that the communities, what they are saying is that the herdsmen and the gunmen have been their challenges, as in taking away what belongs to them from them, sending them out of their communities and things like that. And we still have government in power that should have put a stop to this or to curb it.
Number one, Nigerian government, they are enjoying some privileges like incentives from all these killings and this reckless ransom taking. Number two, if it's not being politicized, definitely they know what to do. If the head of state, as the president of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, who used to be a military man, a very strong military man, well equipped, is now wearing a normal kaftan like a normal Nigerian, which all of us knows is a disciplinarian. Are you telling me if truly the security architecture, the foundation is very, very solid and remains resolute, are you saying these criminals are more than the Nigerian army? Number two, all of the budgets for security in Nigeria yearly since the emergence of President Muhammadu Buhari as number one citizen of the Federation, what has been the fusion, the result of all these budgets? Number three, all of these soldiers and officers at the war front combating this insurgency. What kind of arms and ammunitions are being given to them to face this Boko Haram, this deadly Boko Haram and all these tagged unknown gunmen? What made them unknown gunmen? At least if your home ship is sinking, why not collaborate with other foreign countries for assistance? What stopped Nigeria from speaking with USA? What stopped Nigeria from speaking with Israel? What stopped Nigeria with speaking with some of the countries within Africa that insurgency is not even happening in their country? What stopped Nigeria from speaking with all this top world? To making sure that yes, this killing gets stopped and these enemies of humanity gets wiped away. I see no reason why a state will complain about killings and they bury their loved ones, they are mourning, and the following day another attack again is coming up and Nigerian security are nowhere to be found. If this insurgency can easily unleash terror on Nigerian police force, Nigerian military, airways, to mention a few, what is the government doing? The Senate, the chairman on the committee concerning security in the country, what is their assignment? They are just there as figureheads, and just smiling, having the cash to their own pockets, and they don't care. I have a colleague who happened to be my junior in school, college days. He was at the war front as a military man, officer. He got killed. The wife gave birth 4 months before his death. The guy could not even come home for the child's dedication. After 4 months of delivery, the next thing the wife got was just a very saddened story. We lost your husband to Boko Haram. Till today, I can say categorically there is no record or social diary that states that yes, all of the fallen heroes their family left behind are being taken care of. Nigeria is still backward and the ship is sinking. I pray to God Almighty to making sure that the incoming administration does not fail the trust of Nigerians.
Amen. Quite unfortunate. And you know, just like you said, when we look at it, then we ask the question that what are the governors, our governors in various states of the country, be doing, what have they been doing with the security votes allotted to them if they can't protect the life of the people, because it is their responsibility to protect the life and the properties of the people. But quite unfortunate that Nigeria is a place whereby, you know, everybody on his own.
Ige, the truth about Nigeria's constitution is that an average Nigerian does not have a say or a voice. Those ones in powers, ministers, senators, example is Ike Ekweremadu. It's a shame to Africa as a continent. It's a shame to the world. Of his status and caliber, look at what he finds himself into. He claimed the donor was a cousin to his daughter. But while in UK, when the whole thing came out, there was a confessional statement that stated that yes, Ike Ekweremadu never referred that donor to be a cousin. He was referring to that same donor as that guy. So he was dealing in a shady business to exploit that donor. But the doctor in question was speaking through the voice of Ike Ekweremadu. Ike Ekweremadu was giving out the money and the doctor was dealing in a shady deal. If Nigeria was a working country with constitutions that stand, that respect nobody, the moment you violate any punishable offense, you should be dealt with. Nigeria would have been admiration to all countries. Take, for example, again, another point against Ike Ekweremadu. I don't have any pity for him. Let him rot there. Because anyone that intends to exploit anyone else, definitely the wrath of the law should be called upon for judgment. Not because you are into government, you are a big man, and your money, your influence and affluence should ride you higher than every other person as subject to you. This should be a lesson, but Nigerian leaders will never listen or learn from it. There are so many top leaders who have come and gone in Nigeria. Many of them died ruthlessly. How many of the living ones have a change of mind? Only few. But the truth be told, I won't mention a name, but let me come with a story. Before he gained an appointment in the present administration, he was fighting as an activist. But the moment he got an office under the present administration, he went against the same public he used to fight for as an activist. So shameful. Where is... Alright, Ige, like we were saying about the way Nigerians are being managed by their leaders, and I tag them to be managers and selfish managers who have no interest of a single Nigerian. Let me just bring back the NSAS trauma, which some families are still battling. How many of them are being taken care of? Even all of the efforts of the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, we can only hear these things on media. How effective are all of these things mentioned on media? How much smiles as taking the air on the minds of the families who lost 1 or 2 people? Nigerian army are claiming they were not on ground that very day. and the former governor of Lagos State, who is the Minister of Works and Housing, Baba Tunde Raji Fashola, claims that yes, these and these, all of these dramas, for how long will this country remain a dramatic poetry rather? Because when you are saying all of those things, and one very bad significance about Nigerian leaders or governance or governments is that either from state, local government, and federal level, when we have a pothole on the road and they're not plying that route, the pothole would keep growing till it becomes something endangering the lives of motorists, pedestrians, to mention a few. But any day that same pothole takes the life of one of them, then you will see construction ongoing on such road. Why is it so?
Well, I want to say that in that area, maybe we should say they don't see it as their responsibility. But the truth of the matter is, if you can't take responsibility of those things, then why are you in position? Why do you, come out to be elected? Or why do you feel you want to go for an election if you know that, okay, the responsibility of taking care of the people will not be paramount to you?
Yeah.
So, just like you said the other time, it is only God that will help Nigerians.
I pray so.
And I believe that for us to be patriotic, we have to do the right thing, because at least our leaders, they go out there, they see the way other countries operate their system. So I shouldn't see the reason why they won't be able to, do the same thing when they come back home. And I pray Nigeria will be great again.
Amen.
Let's take a look at this from the educational angle.
Okay.
Emmanuel Oshodeke, re-elected as national president. Members of the Academic Staff Union of University have re-elected Professor Emmanuel Oshodeke unopposed as their national president to steer the affairs of the union for another 2 years. The union members also re-elected Chris Pumana, a consultant psychiatrist and associate professor in the College of Medicine, University of Jos, as vice president. They were re-elected during their 22nd National Delegates Conference of ASU, which was hosted by the University of Jos Plateau State between May 19th and 21, 2023. Other national officers of ASU who were also re-elected during the conference include Professor C.G. Showande, Treasurer, Professor Ade Adejumo, Financial Secretary, Dr. Austin Sado, Investment Secretary, Dr. Adamu Babayo, and Dr. Aisha Bawa, who replaced Dr. Stella Maris Oke as the Welfare Secretary. What do you see to the re-election of Professor Oshodeke?
It's a beautiful smile to me, and their performance gave them the merit to be re-elected. And so far, they've done their best, and I believe best again is coming from them, and it's going to be a very good thing for continuation of what they have been agitating for before the re-election. And I got a story yesterday as well, and I was impressed that yes, these two people and other cabinet members have done well for the Association of Nigerian Universities and Nigerian students, and what they feel is necessary from the government. Because if truly the government have always been at their best and 100% doing the needful as regards education in Nigeria, and to kill off what we know or what has been an habitual thing concerning strike in Nigeria, definitely these people will not be having extra worries telling the government what is expected or what is needed. So for their re-election, I want to tell you that they have performed wonderfully well, and he that does it better deserves another chance, if truly is still capable of being in the office. To me, it's a good one, and it's just a point of telling Oshodeke to please understand the fact why he was re-elected. Because the re-election means that it needs to double up his belt to bring in back smiles to what is on ground as regards their increment for salaries, incentives, promotional offer and benefits to likes of you and those who have died during the course of the struggle. So with this continuation, I believe the incoming administration will surely be a befitting atmosphere to the ASU and whoever is in charge of it all.
So what will you now say in respect of the news we read yesterday when we look at the case of the Nigerian going out there for studies and the move by the British government to place a ban on Nigerian students who tend to bring their family over to the UK?
My take is this: I support what the UK is trying to do. On one aspect is that you are being given an admission in UK or in another country to school, not a family business. If Nigeria was to be a good country with good educational background, with good qualities, with good infrastructural development, or let me say physical infrastructure, working system, nobody will leave the country for another country. So if the UA or the UK wants to have this restriction or ban from Nigerian students bringing in their family, definitely it shows that this trend of students and family coming to their country, they've been bombarding their country, which their country frowns at. If you are being given a ticket, which is not a family ticket, definitely it's for you alone, a singular ticket, not a family ticket. So whoever wants to join you as a family, the provision should go with due process. If due process is being respected and honored, definitely there wouldn't be any sort of ban on your family coming to you. But let me ask you a question. Are you telling me your family member will be with you in the classroom?
No.
So why go with your family members?
Now, but when you look at the clause in the band, you discover that let's say the clause states that for those that want to go for PhD, they can be allowed to bring their family just because of the fact that they have the skill. Don't you think the British government, what they are trying to do is they only want those Nigerians that they could gain from, those that their skill could easily be exported, you understand, or their skill could easily be useful in their country, and not those that are unskilled, that okay, maybe they are strictly going there just for study and they don't have anything to contribute to their economy.
Let me ask you this straight question again. Can you allow a miscreant into your house?
No.
But you can allow a family member with good instincts into your house.
Exactly.
So that's the translation.
Okay.
So because because Nigerian government and Nigeria as a whole is not utilizing the resources they have. So if it is documented that yes, you are skillful enough and you are willing to come to that country, definitely as you are gaining, they are gaining. I'm not against them. Because if Nigeria was to be suitable or suitably for what you carry, either you didn't go to school but you have this handwork, like a carpenter, like a mechanic, like an engineer, like a site engineer, or like a farmer, definitely our government should be able to utilize everything within us. Secondly, they keep claiming they fed so Nigerians with this their homegrown feeding and stuff. How many of our people now they get this food for classrooms? Number two, they say that they do empower. You and I both applied, like thousands of Nigerians or millions of Nigerians all cut across the 36 states of the Federation, including FCT Abuja. All of them will now apply that time. Now all of them ain't get them.
No.
All of the money disbursed by the federal government to the very commission handling this empower, how many salaries they come out from that side? I'm speaking this pidgin because not everybody understands good Queen's English.
Exactly.
Jọ, ṣé gbogbo wa náà la rí àǹfààní empower ni? Àìmọye owó tó ti ṣe ní kúmọkúmọ tí ò dé àpò owó àwọn èèyàn tó forúkọ lẹ̀ tí wọ́n dẹ̀ mú wọn fún iṣẹ́ yìí. Àìmọye orí ló parí school tó ṣe scheme NYSC tó lè ṣì wálé bàbá wọn àbí ilé ìyá wọn. Ọ̀pọ̀ ló ti gboyún tó ti di single mother. Ọ̀pọ̀ ló lọ kọ́ṣẹ́ ọwọ́. Jọ̀wọ́ tá bá kọ́ṣẹ́ ọwọ́ náà tán capital láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ business. So if UK is saying tó o bá ti ní ọpọlọ lórí láti wá ṣiṣẹ́ ní ìlú àwọn jókòó sí orílẹ̀-èdè yín wọ́n mọ tó ń ṣe àwọn ìjọba yín ni wọ́n mọ tó ń ṣe so bó ṣe rí nìyẹn o. Another one again before we call it a wrap on the program. U.S. President Joe Biden has announced a 9-man team to attend the inauguration of Nigeria's president-elect Bola Tinubu in Abuja, Nigeria on May 29. I'm honored, tweeted Jude Davamelt on Monday evening. Mr. Davamont is a special assistant to the U.S. President Joseph Biden and Senior Director for African Affairs in the National Security Council as he expresses sentiment on being a part of the presidential delegation that will travel to Nigeria in the coming days. This is a huge boost.
Exactly.
It means that there is a living and standing bilateral agreement between Nigeria and US, irrespective of the administration. So far, there is no conflict in the agreement. So for me, it's a good one. There are so many countries with inaugurations that US may and may not even attend.
Exactly.
So do you agree to this?
Well, it's a good commendation. It's a good commendation. So I think it's also going to boost the bilateral relationship between Nigeria
and US
and the United States.
Before we call it a wrap from this side, it's been a wonderful drive since the time we started till this moment. But before we go, I'd like to bring our news concerning sports story, if time permits, as regards the UEFA Champions League final between Manchester City and Inter Milan. Ige, I see you as someone with sports, but all the same, maybe not 100%. Man City is a club within England and is the present champion of the Premier League when Arsenal was there on the pot one ever since, but later on succumbed to defeat, and so on and so forth. As regards the Champions League right now, it's going to be between an Italian club side, Inter Milan, and Manchester City of England in the final. And if Pep Guardiola can win this championship this time, definitely it's going to be a very, very big joy for the English team, because the people who owns Manchester City deliberately signed Pep Guardiola to win Champions League. I think he has been at the ends of affair for like 5 seasons now, if I'm not mistaken. But he has won back-to-back 4 Premier Leagues without Champions League. Now he's in the final. Do you think mathematically he could win the Champions League?
Well, with all much hard work and other cooperation from the team, I think it's possible. And just like you said the other time, well, there's one thing I also look at in the football, that every club had their own time of reigning. There was a time we had Man United. At least I could still recall Baba Ferguson,
Alex Ferguson.
Exactly, and then with Arsenal, I recall
Arsene Wenger.
Arsene Wenger, exactly. And when you talk about Liverpool, we have Benitez.
Yes,
you understand. But I think that maybe it is now the time of Man City. So what they need, they need to go all out there to make sure that they clinch the cup.
All right.
So, and that's it.
So your word from the marble this morning for viewers out there, Ige, before we end today's program.
Well, you follow your dream.
Nice one.
Follow your dream.
A big punchline. And you're signing out?
Well, we thank God for another opportunity, and as we are running up the news for the day, please, Nigerians, you take it easy. And as we are approaching the inauguration day, let's all keep all hands on desk and make sure that we work hand in hand to make sure we take Nigeria to the top.
Alright, from my own side, I'd like to tell you, I am your son, your darling one on the program, newspaper headline today on BGI TV Currents, and let's make it another date tomorrow and possibly other subsequent episode. If you enjoy this, put it on the comment section. The stories were brought before you on your viewing pleasure today. What are your words of advice to Nigerian government? What are your words to BGI TV Currents? With your love and your belief in us, we strive to doing it better daily. My name remains Morire Rabila Lawal. God bless Nigeria. God bless everyone.
And I am Ige Olalekan. Stay blessed.